For 6.5 years, he played the grieving husband, a trembling voice on television, tears arriving exactly on cue, pleading into cameras as if his heart had been shattered. "Please just come home," he begged, again and again. Reporters comforted him. Neighbors prayed for him. The world believed him. But every time he walked down those stairs, his shoes clicked against the concrete that hit her. His missing wife wasn't missing at all. She was right there beneath his feet, and every desperate plea he made to bring her home was spoken while he stood directly on her grave. Tina Satchwell was 45 years old when she disappeared in March of 2017. Born Tina Dingan on the 30th of November 1972 in Fermoy, County Cork, she was petite, 5'4", with blonde shoulder-length hair and striking blue eyes. She had a Tweety bird tattoo on her chest and a belly button piercing her friends always recognized. People described her as bright, bubbly, and beautiful. She radiated warmth, the kind of person people felt instantly comfortable around. But Tina's childhood carried painful layers. She was raised by her grandmother, Florence, believing Florence was her mother. It wasn't until she searched for her birth certificate before confirmation that she discovered the truth. Mary Collins, the woman she had always believed was her sister, was actually her biological mother. That revelation wounded her deeply. Still, Tina remained devoted to the grandmother who raised her. Fashion became her passion. She had an expensive eye for clothes and jewelry. Upstairs in her home she kept hundreds of outfits on racks, some still with the tags attached. She would buy clothing, wear pieces briefly, then resell them at car boot sales across County Cork. Those sales were more than business, they were social gatherings, a community she enjoyed. She was always impeccably dressed, often matching her Chihuahua Ruby's outfits to her own. Her 2 dogs, Ruby and Heidi, along with her parrot, Valentine, were the children she never had. They went everywhere with her and were part of her identity. She adored animals since childhood, when cats and dogs constantly followed her around Fermoy. She loved swimming, the beach, and coastal scenery. That love of the sea played a role in her moving with her husband, Richard Satchwell, to the town of Youghal in May 2016. People close to her understood she had layers. She appeared social and bubbly, but she was also shy, private, and selective about who she trusted. Her GP of nearly 2 decades described her as friendly, open, and healthy. She had no medical issues, no psychiatric diagnoses, and nothing that could explain a disappearance. The one emotional scar that stayed with her was her brother Tom's suicide in 2012. She was devastated. She bought Ruby the Chihuahua in 2014 specifically to help cope with the grief. Tina met Richard Satchwell on the 3rd of March 1989 in Colville, near Leicester, England. She was 17, he was 22. Richard told his brother that same day that he would marry her. He called her his trophy wife, a woman he believed was out of his league. They began dating quickly. Richard proposed in October 1989 at Mount Pleasant overlooking Youghal Bay, and they married on Tina's 20th birthday in 1991. But the relationship came with its own costs. Richard's family was anti-Irish and issued an ultimatum: choose them or Tina. Richard chose Tina. He never spoke to his mother again. None of his family attended the wedding. While this choice may seem romantic, it also marked the beginning of the isolation that would come to define their marriage. Richard, a lorry driver, described himself as obsessed with Tina. He worshipped her, was besotted with her, and considered her physically perfect. He memorized intimate details about her body, her measurement, and her clothing sizes. He claimed he ran her bath 7 nights a week, covered her in bubbles, toweled her dry, applied baby oil to her skin, and pedicured her feet. But behind this devotion was something darker. Tina's half-sister, Lorraine, would later testify that Richard was obsessive, possessive, controlling, and strange. He criticized every friend Tina made. Over time, her social circle shrank. Tina told Lorraine she felt trapped. She could never leave because Richard would follow her to the ends of the earth. Their world became only the two of them, exactly the way Richard wanted it. The couple moved from England to Fermoy in the early 1990s, then relocated several times. Tina made friends wherever she went, but Richard always found reasons to keep her isolated. Friends described him as odd, intense, and overly watchful. He disliked Tina going anywhere alone. He logged her movements and asked constant questions about who she spoke to. By 2016, Tina wanted change. She loved the coastal beauty of Youghal, so they moved there. But even in their new home, tensions brewed beneath the surface. On Sunday, March 19, 2017, Richard claimed Tina was preparing for a car boot sale. But it was raining heavily, so she changed her mind and stayed indoors. Richard said she was upset about a family situation, and he went out to buy groceries. He said Tina gave him shopping lists for Aldi and Lidl. When he returned, she was gone. According to him, she left voluntarily, taking clothes, suitcases, and €12,000 in cash. He said she took her passport as well. But every part of his story had cracks. For one, Tina adored her dogs and parrot. She would never abandon them. She would never leave without telling Lorraine or her grandmother. And she would never leave all her clothes behind. Richard reported her missing 4 days later, on March 24. He told police she vanished suddenly. He repeated this claim in interviews, appealing to the public for help. He cried on camera. He acted distraught. He told reporters he believed Tina would eventually contact him. He made himself the center of the narrative. But in private, he was acting differently. Only days after she supposedly vanished, Richard began selling Tina's belongings: clothes, shoes, jewelry, things she treasured. He also offered to sell their freezer, telling someone it had never been used, though later he would claim Tina had stored hundreds of kilos of frozen water inside. Suspicious behavior piled quickly. Tina's half-sister became alarmed. Richard refused to let her into the house. He said he was too heartbroken to have visitors. When she insisted, he blocked her. That was the first red flag. Police began investigating, but early searches did not include the house's foundations. Officers searched beaches, forests, CCTV, and ferry ports. They tracked bank accounts. They checked passport records. Nothing indicated Tina left willingly. One bizarre detail emerged. A laptop belonging to Tina had been wiped. Digital forensic experts discovered recovery logs showing someone attempted to delete large amounts of data. The last person to use the laptop was Richard. He claimed he only used it to look at news, but further digging revealed that someone used that laptop to search for quicklime, a substance used to accelerate decomposition. He insisted he did nothing. He said Tina had mental health issues, though her doctor confirmed she had none. Police questioned Richard repeatedly. He said she ran away because she was stressed, but every witness who knew her disagreed. And then came another inconsistency: phone records. Investigators discovered that Tina's phone had not traveled far at all. It remained near the couple's home long after Richard claimed she left. CCTV footage around Youghal showed no trace of her. And then investigators noticed something else. The stairwell leading down to the house's storage area had freshly poured concrete, which Richard explained as a home improvement project. Police made several visits, but initially did not break through the concrete. Years passed. The case went cold. Richard appeared on television repeatedly, sometimes crying, sometimes angry, always insisting he was innocent. "One day my wife is going to turn back up," he said. "This will all come out, and it will prove I've done nothing wrong." But he underestimated how persistent cold case units could be. In 2023, a new team took over the investigation. They reanalyzed every digital file, every bank record, every call log. The laptop searches for quicklime, body decomposition, and concrete burial techniques stood out. They looked again at the timeline. They focused on the house. They reviewed interview tapes and noted inconsistencies in Richard's tone, word choice, and emotional expression. In October 2023, police launched an extensive excavation of the Satchwell home. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Forensic archaeologists dismantled layers of flooring. They broke through the concrete Richard had poured years earlier. Underneath, wrapped in black plastic, carefully hidden, were human remains, a bracelet still on the wrist, a ring Tina always wore. There, under the stairs he walked past every day, lay the woman he claimed to love, the woman he cried for on camera, the woman he insisted ran away. The remains were confirmed to be Tina's. She had been beaten, suffocated, and concealed beneath the newly poured concrete. Her animals had been left behind, her clothes untouched, her bank account untouched, her passport untouched. Everything Richard had claimed fell apart. Richard was arrested immediately. During questioning, his story shifted. He admitted there had been an argument. He admitted she had died, but he claimed it was accidental. But the physical evidence showed deliberate concealment, not panic. He had wrapped her body, sealed the space, cleaned the area, and poured fresh concrete. That was not the act of a grieving husband. It was the act of a man determined to hide a crime. During the trial, Richard behaved unpredictably. At times he cried. At times he ranted. At times he appeared emotionless. Witness after witness described his controlling behavior. Tina's family spoke about her fear, her isolation, and her attempts to leave. Digital experts testified about the deleted files and the quicklime searches. Forensic scientists explained the condition of the remains and the concrete layers. The jury deliberated for only a short time before returning a unanimous verdict: guilty of murder. In the courtroom, as the verdict was read, Tina's family cried softly. They had waited 6.5 years for answers. Richard sat motionless, staring ahead. The judge sentenced him to life in prison, calling his actions cold, calculated, and cruel. After the trial, a vigil was held in Tina's honor. Friends and family placed flowers and candles, remembering her as the warm, bubbly woman she truly was. Her ashes were finally laid to rest with dignity. For 6 years the world believed Richard Satchwell was a heartbroken husband searching for his missing wife. But beneath his feet, under layers of cold concrete, the truth waited. No matter how many tears he shed on camera, no matter how many stories he told, the truth had always been there. He was not searching for Tina, he was standing on her grave. Tina Satchwell's story is a reminder of how appearances can deceive, how manipulation can mask violence, and how justice, even delayed, can still rise from the darkest places. Her family now speaks openly about the importance of recognizing controlling behavior, and about remembering Tina not for the way her life ended, but for the joy she brought to everyone who knew her. Today, her case stands as one of Ireland's most haunting domestic homicide investigations, but it also serves as a testament to persistence, to truth, and to the power of love, the real kind, not the twisted version her husband pretended to show. Tina's memory lives on in those who loved her, in the community that refused to forget her, and in the justice that finally gave her a voice after years of silence.